My guest today is Andrew Griffiths, one of Australia's most successful and prolific business writers. Andrew is the author of the iconic book 101 Ways to Market Your Business, and this year sees his 10th book going into publication. As we'll see, he's passionate, energetic, and full of ideas to help people grow the business of their dreams. Today we're looking at how to avoid isolation. Welcome back, Andrew.
Good morning, Mr. Gerrish.
So, isolation, tell me, what do you mean by that exactly?
Well, I think that it's something that's happening a lot in society, actually, as well as in business. There's a lot of people that are working for themselves, that are spending a lot of time on their own, and they're feeling cut off from their, I guess, their world in some respects. It becomes all kind of introspective. And it leads to a real sense of being alone and isolated. And interestingly enough, it is spreading throughout business in different areas as well. And I think that it's a real problem, and I'm seeing more and more of it. People are actually contacting me and emailing me saying, "I feel so alone in my business." Okay. You know, and it's quite tragic.
So you're saying it's not affecting just those of us who kind of work alone or in a micro business. It's affecting the big end of town as well.
Absolutely, I think it's just as much of a problem for CEOs of organisations that are often those kind of people that are caught in between. They're in between their management and in between the board. So really, where do they go to try and talk about problems or challenges? They've got to be seen to be strong and in control in both directions. Right. Sometimes you don't feel that way, you know. Sometimes you feel completely out of control and uncertain.
So what are the symptoms? How do we recognise it ourselves if we're suffering?
It's an interesting one. I think what I really notice, and I've experienced it myself, I've got to say I think that's an important part. You've got to go through this, and it's a loss of direction. All of a sudden, you know, you're so focused on where you're going and what you want to do that you lose that direction. You know, if you're a really motivated person, all of a sudden you lose that motivation. Right. And it is almost a little bit of depression, I believe, in some respects, because you are cut off or feeling cut off. And fear, you know, your normal logic brain, which says, no, I'm in control of my business and everything's going well, it's kind of thrown out the window by blind terror, you know, and uncertainty and fear of the future and fear of what's going on around you. And it's a complex kind of a problem.
And knowing you, I bet you've got some solutions to this. Do you have some tips for us?
I do, and today I've got 5 ways to overcome business isolation, which I think have worked for me, and it's the advice that I tend to give to other people. And the first one is, and just briefly, a little anecdote that I'll mention here. I worked for a Japanese company many years ago, a big shipping company, and the first day I joined them, they gave me a brochure. And this brochure was their 100-year plan. You know, so it's pretty amazing, isn't it? You know, when you think about it, I thought, oh, this will just be a propaganda brochure saying, aren't we wonderful, as, you know, a corporate thing type of thing I would have written for them. Yeah. And in fact, it was a very straightforward kind of a brochure that looked at their history for the next 100 years. And they'd built in a 50-year recession, they'd built in world pandemics, they'd built in changing energy sources, and really quite incredible things. But at the end of it, they said, in 100 years, this is where our business will be. They had this wonderful vision for the future. When you get isolated in business, you stop looking at the future and it all becomes about now. You get a bit overwhelmed about what's happening now. You lose that decision-making process and things get a little bit more complicated and lost. The moral to the story that I'm saying there is we need to keep one eye on what's happening now, so we're still running our business and doing what we need to do. But we've got to make sure we have that focus, that future, we know where we're going.
Future picture of where we're headed.
Absolutely, Robert. So we know where we're going. And that kind of pulls us along rather than being overwhelmed in what's happening right now. And I think that that's an important, you know, an important
Is that one of your 5 tips?
That's the first tip.
Oh, okay.
I'll make the next ones quicker. The second one is I think we've got to deal with the facts. Yeah. You know, when we're dealing in, or we're feeling somewhat isolated, we're often dealing with the what ifs. What if there's no more customers tomorrow? Yeah. What if
the phone stops ringing?
The phone stops ringing. Yeah. What if the board of directors come in and say, it's been nice having you here, but it's time for you to pack your lunch and go? So we've got to deal with the facts, and what I've always done in that scenario is to actually write the facts down. I have my little spreadsheet and I go, right, these are the facts. This is what is actually happening. I've got these customers, I've got this business, I've got this money in the bank, I've got these projects coming up, I've got all of these particular things.
So reassure yourself with what's really going on.
Absolutely.
Stop the noise in your mind about what might be going on.
That's right, you know, and I think if we do that, again, it's like being afraid of the dark. You turn on the light and all of a sudden it's not so scary. Once you've turned on the light of what's actually happening in your business, things get better. And it's very, very powerful to do that.
Very good,
very good.
Number 3.
Number 3 is to work on other parts of your life. as well. And there's an interesting philosophy there. I think that what can happen is that if you're feeling that lost sense and isolated sense in your business, you can often try to do so much to fire yourself up and push yourself through it, and it doesn't work, or you feel like it doesn't work, and it actually then transpires into other parts of your life. It starts to move through there. I think it's really important to make sure that the other parts of your life are good. You know, make sure that you're spending time with your friends. Make sure that you're spending time looking after yourself. Make sure that you're doing things that you love to do to relax and recharge. Instead, though, we can tend to go, well, I'm going to stay at the office and do more stuff. Which just makes you feel more isolated.
It's that lovely quote I heard recently, a reminder of recently, don't get so busy building a business that you forget to build a life.
Yeah, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It wasn't mine.
So, well, take credit for it. Take credit.
Okay, number 4.
But number 4 is, again, to me, very important and hard sometimes for people to do, but it's to find that really good confidant. Someone who you can talk to about anything, and it may be someone that knows your business. It may not be. It can be someone that's just a good friend that you respect. And I have a couple of people like that in my life. Whenever I'm feeling a little bit lost or uncertain about my direction, I go to one particular chap who's a very, I guess, incredible kind of a businessman, really, a global kind of a guy. And he just has this wonderful ability to always find a way through, no matter what the situation. Most of the time in business, our problems get back to not enough money, you know, but he kind of gets that out of the way and says, well, forget about that, let's just find solutions. And just that fresh perspective. But other times, I think we also just need someone that says, oh, look, you know, you're going through this, understand it, your business is good or whatever it may be, your life is good, this is just where you're at, but it's someone who you can at least be honest with.
Okay, so we're not saying it has to be a paid for coach or mentor, but somebody,
or a therapist, or
a business buddy
or
a colleague, someone who's going to listen to you and be able to reflect back some of the things that are going on.
Empathise.
Okay.
Not a moaning buddy. It's not to find someone to you know, be miserable together. You know, they're a dime a dozen. They grow on trees. It's someone who's actually going to, I think, play a positive role in your life. And we all have those people. You know, when you talk to them, you feel inspired and uplifted, or you know that they get you and they understand your business, whatever it may be. And I think we should all have someone like that in our lives anyway.
The thing is that, as well, I think with that is that when someone like that pops up in your life, they genuinely want to play that role. It's not that they're being kind of asked to. They generally want to do it, don't they?
That's right. So, and I think that they come along at the right time. All of a sudden you connect with someone and you kind of get each other, and you'll often be that person for someone else as well. And I think it's important to know that if you're getting someone trying to connect with you a little bit and you go, well, maybe I should. They might need a bit of a hand.
Great. Your final point.
5th point here, and I've got a bonus point, of course, because that's what I do. But the 5th point is that we have to push ourselves a little bit harder at times like this to get out and to mingle. It's very easy all of a sudden to hide away a little bit.
So don't hide under your desk, get out and
don't hide under your desk, don't stop shaving, don't stop washing, don't stop, you know, answering phone calls and things like that. So push ourselves to get out to networking functions, push ourselves to go and visit our clients a little bit more if that's the kind of business that you have. You know, interact with your staff if you have a lot of staff. That just
so nudge yourself to participate somewhat more.
It's really about that human connection that I think is important. But I think you can get that in a number of different ways too. You can read more, you can go online, you can see what other people are doing, and again, it makes it feel like you're a part of something rather than
on your own.
I'm just over here all on my own, and the world is a bit overwhelming, and I'm struggling.
Okay. Great point. And your bonus point, Andrew, is?
Well, the bonus point is to realise that you're human, and I think that we forget that in business. Again, whether you're the CEO of a global company or whether you're running your own business from home as a solo operator, we're all human, and we do have these periods in our life where, you know, we're challenged and it's difficult and it's not that easy and we feel alone, and times like now when there are a lot of changes happening in the world and there's a lot of pressure on us, these are the times that we struggle the most. So being human is the first thing that we have to put our hand up and accept and go, well, okay, I'm going to have these kind of challenges in my life, but I'm not helpless. I can do something about it. And the things that I spoke about for a few minutes there, all are really, really simple, but I know they have a very strong and profound effect on people if they just kind of do those things, get out a little bit more, you know, think about the future, just really understand what's going on and what they can do about it. It will change, and all of a sudden they'll get up that morning and they'll go, I'm back.
Right.
And I'm
Fabulous.
I'm back, I'm energized, my passion is there, I'm enthused, and you're off again. It's just a stage. It's like puberty. Hopefully it doesn't last as long.
I think we'll close it there. Andrew, thank you. Thanks very much again for joining us.
Thanks, Robert.
If we need more great information for you, I know we can go to your website, which will appear on screen.
Thank
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.